I'm delighted to have our panel here from CBRE, Stuart Appley, Managing Director of Technology Solutions, Matthew Toner, Managing Director, and Brian Oswald, SVP. Am I getting your titles more or less correct, or not really?
Close enough.
All right, all right, fair enough. So one of the things that we always talk about is smart buildings. One of the themes that we've seen ongoingly here at the show is about AI. So tell us what is CBRE's thinking right now as to where those two have a confluence and where they separate, how they interact with each other. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely. So one of the things that we see right now is the smart buildings market as a whole is quite broad, quite busy, and overall very loud. We think, kind of one of the first steps that we can take with clients is just dividing and kind of delineating where focus needs to be. And we see it as two kind of major flavors of smart building, if you will, the operationally smart and then the experientially smart. And the operationally smart is very much about the facility managers, better control of the equipment, really kind of reducing overall expenses and just getting a better run core of your building. And that has been where the industry has been for 20 plus years. Now, with the kind of just falling costs and rising capabilities in technology, the whole realm of experiential smart building is getting big, and it's really kind of focused on the occupant, their overall experience, and really kind of the value add in just a much more curated day. Taken together, both of them are transforming our industry and how we deliver both projects and facility management. With me here today is Brian Oswald, President of ESI, really kind of representing that core operations, the brain of the building. I'm going to let him speak next. And then Stuart Appley, who represents much more of that experiential side in terms of the latest and greatest that we're working with in AI, and really focusing towards this expanding realm of experiential, how it all comes together and makes sense in a really smart way for our clients.
Terrific, I'd love to know.
Yeah, I mean, as Matt said, our primary focus has really been on the operational side and data extraction, to be specific. I mean, what we really focus on is not only getting the data out of buildings, but normalizing that data so we can use it across multiple applications. As well as when you're able to do that, you're driving a more of an enterprise command and control infrastructure. So for our top enterprise clients, that's significant for them as they try to do more with less, as we're trying to drive to more of a data-driven FM model. And all of that together, I think, delivers that true holistic building. And then you take that a step further with what Stuart's doing, and really the sky's the limit and where we're able to push technology.
So when you're using AI, are you using it mainly with lease? I mean, what kinds of processes are you automating?
All the above. Right now we're doing pilots around leases, around capital markets, building information. So related back to what they're doing, it's around personalizing the user experience, taking that data. So one example is our 360 service that we just rolled out that's supported by a digital mobile app, making that experience personal for them, be able to tailor. So you might go, what conference rooms do you like to use the most? Where are you booking? What type of food? Oh, here's a notification that today we have that type of thing. So it really is about the personalization. But we are looking broadly around all our service lines of how AI can augment the future of work, augment the experiences today, help people make better decisions, faster decisions. And so it is really related to all our service lines, but in particular the experience from a user in the building that rely on.
So right now, your users, you're tracking the rooms that they prefer, you're tracking some of their preferences. What are some of the other things that you hope to be tracking? Where do you see the future going as it pertains to that?
Will change to AI, particularly. It really almost anything could be, parking when they first enter. It's really when you first wake up in the morning and what you're doing and what your day is going to look like. You particularly, how you work, how you start your day, and then how you end up being work. How are you going to get there? What's the best way to get there today? Where are you going to park? What are your meetings today? Where do you need to be? And then when you actually get to the building, how you interact with that building on a day-to-day basis.
From a technical standpoint, how much of this is being tracked by handheld? Is that how you're getting most of your information, or is it sensors? Where do you get your information about your leases and your...
We're starting to implement sensors. So there is sensors at each building that we're doing, rolling out some pilots now today. And then the other pieces are more emerging. So from the personalization perspective, it would be GPS or Wi-Fi data or mobile data. We're still early in that area, be able to bring all that together. But the other ones that we talked about leases and those other things, it really is understanding our occupants, understanding, for the client to get a whole view of what they have operationally, what they have from value, what they need to do tomorrow, what they need to do in the future. Can be both building, preventative maintenance perspective, but it can also be, what buildings they're looking at to be able to buy down the road, and what a lease might look like, and when a clause might come up. And so trying to bring all that together for our clients.
And what's been the feedback? I mean, from these initiatives that you've been rolling out, what are you hearing back?
Yeah, I'd say the feedback is, kind of strong to quite strong in terms of, both demand and I think kind of the user acceptance of what's going on out there. One of the biggest things that Brian and I work with clients around the separation of the art of the practical and then art of the possible. And I think we've got, you can see here, from the floor, you've got a lot of conversations in the art of the possible where technology will be, kind of within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and you've got a lot of focus there, but it is going past almost the art of the practical of where we are today. And these are the things that are really driving overall operations of the building, which make it a better place to work, things that drive down our cost in terms of how we maintain them, how we build them. And it truly is something that, again, as we look at kind of two flavors of smart building, two big delineators and where that focus is, a lot of people wanting to talk about the art of the possible, but then our implementations are very much still in this kind of art of the practical.
Right. You have to treat it as a phased approach. I mean, to assume that you're going to go to a client and install every latest and greatest piece of technology, it's just not practical. So it's finding the right balance, as Matt said, and that's crucial across all business lines, whether you're doing do full-on AI or experiential to the operational side. So it's there's trying to figure out what is best of breed and how best to deploy that so that it drives that value for that client. Is crucial in our everyday decisions.
When you look at the show and you see the themes emerging, which of those themes, besides AI, really excite you and get some excitement going company-wide at CBRE? What are you seeing out here that you think CBRE is whetting its teeth to get into?
Yeah. I look at our industry very much as technology is never going to replace what we do, it's going to augment what we do. And so from the AI, kind of very much in my mind is the most impressive, the machine learning that's enabling us to take out any kind of repeated, kind of very manual analysis, being able to get predictive analytics on our equipment, being able to know where and why, kind of particular people are within buildings and how we can get them to a better place. That's all being done in the machine learning stage. I think you're seeing some things around robotics, which are interesting, but I don't think they really move the needle to the way machine learning and AI will for us, just in terms of getting from a whole host of data into an actual insight and action faster.
And I would say and all of those, absolutely, and I would even add on point, having been at this conference and with these people now for 12 years, we're really starting to see agile and user experience and integration really being understood and accepted by people more than it ever was. And so, taking these forward-looking emerging technologies, but people are really starting to get it from a digital perspective, data, mobile capabilities. And so I think that's kind of my takeaway is just, that it's becoming real for some of these owners and operators that it weren't just 2 years ago.
Yeah. Any last thoughts as we wrap up this segment about where CBRE is headed?
I think, from my standpoint, being more on the integration side, I think CB is positioned well from a technology standpoint, better than we ever have been before. And the ability to generate or to drive value with our clients, leveraging technology, leveraging data from all sources, just provides a better holistic picture and allows us to deliver a more efficient FM service. So,
yeah, we have a very robust technology map. And it starts with some items at the core in terms of how the technology actually gets into the buildings, and that's reflected in things like ESI and Brian's team. We have kind of big investments going out looking into the future, what will really kind of change our business, things like AI and some of the pilots that you're seeing in that place. Knowing that needs to get into the mobile apps, which we're making developments in, knowing the mobile app then needs to connect to the sensors, which we're running pilots and our own investments in, and then knowing those sensors need to connect into a strong building core, and that this whole holistic ecosystem needs to work together, needs to be seamless, needs to be something that answers more questions, provides more solutions than just one more kind of technical challenge. And so we look at it end to end and know that unless we provide an end-to-end solution, we're not going to provide a good action, we're going to provide a question, and then our value's gone.
So really balancing what the practical and the possible to make sure that whatever solution you provide is the right one for your customer.
Yeah, We want to be best in breed across all categories, and then best in breed in terms of your connection across those categories.
Terrific. Stuart, Brian, Matthew, thank you so much for joining us.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Cheers.
having
Bye-bye.
us.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
guys.
Pleasure.
Stuart, Matthew.